We ready to go?
Yep.
I think we're good.
I will call this meeting to order of the Whitman Middle School Feasibility Study and a Building Committee. And we are at September 24th, 2024. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remind everybody that this is being on tape and it will be on the website and on YouTube for anybody to see. Do we have anybody for public comment tonight? Seeing none. Okay, meeting minutes approval, please. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any changes, omissions, deletions?
Just on second page, Mr. Boyce's name does not have an E. So it's spelled correctly under introduction of committee member and then under meeting minutes. Abstained by Crystal and Stephen. Delete the E.
Read the E on
Unless
Boyce.
Mr. Farrell's saying my name.
Boise, because he says Boise.
Abstained by Crystal Regan and Stephen Boyce.
Yeah.
Boyce does not have an E.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, all in favor? Please raise your hand. And abstain? Okay, one abstention.
Can we, just for the meeting minutes, when we're doing the video, it doesn't always pick up people. Can we just call out the names of, like, the abstentions
Sure.
and stuff like that?
Sure, okay. Yep, all right, so,
The motion was made.
made
Kathleen
by,
made the motion.
Steve Boyce.
Oh, Steve, you made the
Steve
motion?
made the motion, you
I
and Kathleen seconded it, okay? And everybody voted except we have one. And that is Mr. Driscoll, okay?
Thank you. Just so you know, the person that does the minutes is actually doing it typically from the video.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay.
Just excuse me if I get you, if the microphones get pushed a little bit closer to you, they
Yeah.
actually pick up the cable and the video better than the
Okay.
audio. So that'll be regular speaking voice, but it'll be clear.
Okay. All right. Before we have the OPM update, and I know AI3 is on, I want to know why nobody showed up for the zoning meeting last night. Do they have any? Is anybody responding there?
So I think we did talk with AI3 on that today, and
Yeah.
it's our understanding, and Julie or Troy, if you can speak up if I'm getting this wrong, but I don't think we were ever informed of the meeting.
Well, Bob says it was on one of the pages or something.
Yeah, I thought it was addressed in some of the paperwork that was given out to us, but generally speaking, after the application is put in, it's 30 days, 4 to 6 weeks later. I asked the secretary if they were notified, and she said they were.
But
So
Jeff,
they would have been notified by mail. The abutters were there. They opened the hearing, and they took some testimony from the neighbors, and they continued the meeting till October 21st. So I had them, I'm on the zoning board, so I had them have the meeting upstairs in the auditorium because I figured it would be a big show, and there were probably 15 abutters that are there, and they had a lot of concerns. But since there was no one there representing the schools, they continued it to October 21st.
yeah, and Jeff never received anything either, and as superintendent of the schools, he should have received a letter. He did not. So that would be addressed too, because if letters went out, there wasn't one for Jeff either, and he needs to go. He needs to be informed, so either he or George would go to the meetings. I mean, George lives down the street, should have been there. And there was the only notification, Kathleen said she saw it in the Whitman Hanson Express, but that's not an invitation. And when we look at who got copies of it, it didn't say AI3, it didn't say Whitman Hanson superintendent. It said Brockton, Abington, and all these other places. So I think there was a little bit of a mix-up here.
So we did get a confirmation that it's being continued to October, and we will absolutely make sure that we have people there.
Thank you. Okay, so it's yours, your ball.
Thank you. So moving to the financial updates. I know this is small, but typically we have this in your packets, as you know, and essentially it's a summary with the overviews, ultimately the backups are what we're going to be reviewing, but we don't typically spend that much time on this unless anyone has any specific questions on that. But otherwise, I can move on to the next page, which is the, budget adjustments. With our budget adjustments, as you know, this is really where we will have to move contingencies, but at this time, everything else is great, so we don't have any new updates on the project adjustments at this time, which we can move on to the committed costs. Again, committed costs is where we would need new contracts, new POs, amendments, or any change orders, but at this time we don't have any new ones to share. Everything's gray, so there's no updates on this committed cost slide at this time. Going on to the invoicings, we have new invoices just for the past month, which is pretty standard. One for Colliers and one for AI3 for the past August invoices, which again, we can move back to the actual invoices unless we want to shift to that slide.
Yeah, if there's
now.
any questions, we have the invoices for backup.
I can move to the actual invoices. So we submitted this one for Colliers with a total of 588. Oh, sorry, AI3, so sorry, so small. AI3's invoicing, which was for last month. And then we also have Colliers on the screen right here. Is there any questions on invoicings for the last month?
Anybody have any questions before we take a vote on the invoice?
Motion to approve the AI3 invoice in the amount of $588,965.06.
Second.
Okay,
Wanna
so that was
identify yourselves?
Steve and Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, and we have the other one.
Right, Kathleen will move the Colliers invoice for $39,223.40.
Do I have a second?
Second. Steve Boyce.
Okay. Any questions on that one? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Okay,
Wonderful, thank you.
you're welcome.
Moving on to our cash flow. As of right now, we are projecting in the goods for about 800,000. As you know, this ebbs and flows, and we have most of it from the contingency column, and which is all good on our side, but we'll continue to just keep an eye on this. But at this time, we're showing that we're in the positive as of right now.
Yeah, so just to remind everybody, whenever we do our budget or our cash flow, we assume we spend the full value of the contract of the budget. The reality is we spent virtually none of that contingency that we were anticipating to be spending early on. So it's a good sign. Doesn't mean we might not spend it later, but we're trending in the right direction. Right?
Yeah, nice not to spend it now before we even dug the hole. Yeah.
Which, as you'll see, as you go to the next slide, it will be projected in the cash flow graph. We're just under, as you know, we're obviously getting up there, but again, to your point, we want to make sure we're cognizant of this overall cost flow. All right, so that concludes the financial updates. I'm just going to go back to the agenda, which we've moved on from the financials, so we'll move to our presentation. So just bear with me 1 sec. I'm just going to move this.
So just while she's cleaning that, the next presentation we have is pre-qualification and also early packages. So pre-qualification is something that the industry is requiring for general contractors.
This
we'll
time.
talk about that in a minute. And then the other package is something that we talked about, we talked to you before. What we're recommending at this time is to go out with the generator and the switchgear and try to do that early. And all that really does for us is it allows us to buy it sooner. It's got a long lead time and allows us to get it sooner. And it's going to allow us for the big project, the main project, to shorten the duration that will include those two items. Again, we'll be talking about that.
Yep. Sorry, I tried to do presentation mode, but it's not allowing me. But this is the best full screen, sorry, so I apologize for the inconvenience. But moving to the pre-qualification, as you know from the last SBC meeting, we had a committee of Kathleen, Brennan, and Bob. Thank you for volunteering. Within that, we've met and we've reviewed the pre-qualification draft, which we have since then reviewed and confirmed, and the documents have been submitted to subs and GCs. And at this time, we've received over 88, if not more, as of the last time I provided you this update, requests for interest of this. And within that, there is 12 GCs at this time that requested review of this submission. So that's just a quick update. So from here, the next steps will be we'll prepare the SOQs and we'll review it with the team collectively. I think we have something scheduled in the first week of October to review and assess and essentially narrow down the select bids. So that's just a quick update on the pre-qualification subcommittee group. Any questions on this before? Yes.
So 12 is a healthy number, like we're happy with, like that's good.
Yeah, I would say that I've done 2 bids this year. One of them might have been the end of 24, but 2 in the last 12 months. On one of those, I got 3 bidders, and on one, I got 4. So just because 12 pre-qualified doesn't mean all 12 will bid it when we go out to bid, but 12 is a very good number. I think sometimes we get small general contractors and they realize that, oh, this is way above my pay grade, if you will, and they don't end up submitting. But anything more than 5 or 6 is a very big shot. Thank you.
And again, this is as of when I sent, I think, end of day Friday. I think we've also received some more requests as of yesterday. So it's still ongoing, but just want to give everyone an update for where we currently were at the time.
Thank you.
Great. Then simultaneously, we're also working on the early bid package. At this time, we're reviewing to complete, we're aiming to complete the 30B for the early bid procurement, as we had just mentioned previously at the SBC for the switchgear and the generator. Next steps is we're going to review it and then essentially post it for a couple of postings and ultimately narrow that down as well. So these are the kind of next steps as we're moving along simultaneously with the pre-qualification process. So this is in the works.
Okay, so the switchgear and generator, they also go out to bid? They go out to bid too, just like everything?
They go to bid. So the pre-qualification, the bid job goes under Chapter 149 of Mass General Law. It goes out as a construction project. The switchgear and generator go out more like goods, like if you were buying paper or easels or a gas certificate, it goes out 30B. So we did talk to Steve, and he gave us the standard 30B contract form that you guys are typically using. And we're going to be using that. We're working with the design team to finalize that bid package as we speak. We're trying to make sure we have insurance squared away, things of that nature. Make sure that what's going to happen is we're going to be bidding this and awarding it prior to the general contractor coming on board. But we're not going to actually receive it until well after the general contractor comes on board. So we're making sure that the specifications from the 2 bids coordinate, and that the general contractor / electrical contractor, subcontractor will actually be taking delivery of that unit on site and managing it from there. So it's, we don't have to worry about temporary storage or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
I know this is pretty brief. Sure. So again, we're hoping to complete the contract for October and hoping to have that reviewed and approved as well in October, along with the postings for next month. From there, we'll want to just have the SBC review and vote to approve the supplier, and then we can notify and reward, ultimately hoping to have the procurement delivery switchgear for the 2026 timeframe. So that would be the goal.
So I think at the next meeting that we have, we'll be asking for a vote to allow us to issue the actual request for bids.
Okay.
And then in November, we'll be coming back with bids, and hopefully it'll be under budget, and we'll be able to ask you to award that and keep moving forward.
Fingers crossed.
This goes to the questions. So I'm just going to go back to the agenda. I know it's quite brief on the open updates. Then we know for the warrant update that that's in process, and I think it should be submitted within the week. Not sure, Stephen, you had anything else you wanted to add to
Yeah.
that piece of it?
Yeah, if you want to update on the reimbursement, update on MSBI, Stephen, for
Yeah,
everybody?
so, we've submitted a reimbursement in total of just over $5.5 million for invoices up through August. We're expecting just over 3.5 million of a reimbursement amount on that. There was a little bit of delay. It was a large request in terms of the amount of invoices and the paperwork. MSBA had come back to us with a few questions for some backup documentation. We have just received those today from AI3, and they're being submitted to MSBA. So typically they turn around that reimbursement within 2 weeks. So we're hoping that we'll have that 3.5 million within the next couple of weeks. That will certainly help with the cash flow as to where we are. And then moving forward, we're able to submit those reimbursement requests once a month, so we won't have this large amount moving forward. So the warrants bills are being paid appropriately at this point and should be good moving forward.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Stephen on that? All right.
Great. So the only thing on the agenda is we tentatively put next SBC meeting for October 22nd, which is a Tuesday, unless there's any other preferred dates.
Is that okay with school stuff? Yeah. Okay,
It's
so,
okay with the Bruins schedule, too.
God forbid, Steve.
Sorry. You're welcome.
Okay, is everybody okay? Have that down? 22nd, 4:30?
And the 21st is zoning.
21st,
is
7
zoning.
o'clock.
7:30?
7 o'clock.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Sure. I know we talked about this a little bit, but can you clarify to the board and to everybody who's watching the shifting roles? And like your role now here, and your role here, just so everybody's on the same page. So you really know who you will work with.
Sure thing. Maybe I'll start. So in general, we have kind of two teams here. You have the Colliers team, which is the owner's project manager. So we're providing general oversight and general support to your team. From the Colliers team, we have two of the three key members of the team present here right now. You have myself as the project director, and you have Shirley as our project manager. The third member of our team is Ronnie. She is our assistant project manager, so she's the one that helps us with meeting minutes and helps doing a lot of the behind the scenes work for us. So it's really the three of us that you're gonna be seeing regularly from now on. Once we get into construction, we will be adding a fourth member to our team, which is our construction site representative. You might have heard of them called clerk of the works before, things like that. So that's the person that's physically out on site every day. So in general, that's the team you're gonna have. I'm trying to take more of a supporting role, supporting Shirley, and working with you and supporting you folks. So as we go forward, you're gonna be seeing Shirley probably presenting more and more. Always gonna be here, always gonna be available if I'm not here. But that's the team, that's what we've been trying to get towards. That's Shirley is more in line position-wise with what John Bates was when you guys had John Bates here before I was here. And then from the design team side, we continue to have Troy and Julie as the two leaders from the design team side. They again have supporting people not only with AI3 but with all of their sub-consultants. And we're talking with different people about irrigation and landscaping and traffic and things of that nature. The zoning board would have been done through our civil engineer, and so they're the ones that are working on that. But there's lots of people behind the scenes, but you're going to continue to see Shirley and I here pretty regularly. Troy and Julie, they're almost always here. I think this is the first meeting I've been to that they haven't, and it's really because we didn't have a real design update per se here. So they are online, they are listening in, they're hearing us. but we felt we'd save them a trip tonight because there wasn't really a formal design update here on this.
And just to add, I'm here as a day-to-day, as needed basis, and helping you guys with the subcommittees as well. So whatever you do, so from here.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Anybody have any other questions or comments? Okay.
Beth,
Yes.
if you don't mind, could we have somebody reach out to the chairman of the zoning board?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's John Goldrosen.
Yeah.
I think that you probably, I mean, based on the questions that I heard from the abutters last night, there's going to be some things that are maybe problematic, fencing and things like that. Highland Ave has a path that people drop kids off. I think that the neighbors there are going to be concerned about construction activity, kids walking up and down the street, things like that. And there needs to be somebody that's really familiar with the project. So I don't know if you guys plan on being there.
So you probably have one of us there, in Julie or Troy. I would think Julie would be leading it from A.
Yeah, I think somebody's going to need to be there taking notes because it's quite, I would say that this is going to end up going back for adjustments to the site plan. I don't know that any of us have actually got a full site plan yet. I've got a copy of the whole set, but I think if you could email something out to all of us, and you don't have to do every page, just do the stuff that's important. One of the questions that came up is, are you going to do a temporary road for construction?
So that's one of the things I was just going to mention at the tail end of what you were saying is, I think one of the things that people are going to be most interested in is not necessarily the finished condition, but the construction condition. So we have been working on that. We worked on that last spring for a substantial amount of time. Got it to a reasonably good place. We had to get through some of the submissions and things of that nature. We're working on the pre-qual and the early package right now, but we are working towards getting back into those phasing discussions a little bit more earnestly and finalizing that so that we're ready for the bidding. So I think if there's information from abutters, we can certainly incorporate that into the documents. We've already done that, meeting with the local youth sports people, for example, understanding the time that they need and the fields that they need and how we need to access them. We adjusted our phasing. Again, what we're trying to do here is minimize the inconvenience during the construction. We can't eliminate the inconvenience completely, but we are trying to minimize that. And if there's things that we can do to help the abutters, we absolutely want to do that.
Thanks, Bob. Anything else? Well, I'll take a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Steve Boyce,
Steve Boyce.
and second?
Second.
Second, Brandon Frost. Okay, all in favor? Hand? It's unanimous.